I'm going to invite us all back into the space now to do a little reconnection piece before we journey on. I want to feel the waves that we're riding at this current point. I want to really feel you. I can feel you at a distance, even through this screen, but I want to hear some of the words and the stories and the uncoverings and the unfoldings in the chat. And in this, remembering that your words and your sharing and your vulnerability is medicine. It is absolute medicine for us all. So whoever is going to be first, I'm honoring you in your sharing. What is it? What part of your body spoke to you most strongly now? What did you see? What is the message or the age or any details that you received through your portal journey? And I want to feel what is happening right now between all of us women who are the fucking creators of life, whether birthing babes or birthing literally projects, energy out into the world in every moment.
The reason I chose to talk about this topic is because I am very, very passionate about it because of the difference it's made in my life. I'm also mum to 2 children, 2 teenage boys who, like me, have also been through some of the trauma that I've been through. And so I am seeing that come out in their life. It's also the work I now do, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. So, this is my soul work. This is what I am here to do. And I firmly believe that nobody should walk around carrying any kind of trauma at all. I'm passionate about it, as I said, because my life has changed 360 degrees. And it's changed because I now understand my personal energy signature. I now understand that traumatic experiences in our life leave an energetic imprint in the physical body, and that can cause disease, discomfort, and disability.
So the little experience we just went through then, especially the body touching and sending love, was one of my daily rituals, because I truly feel that life is a ceremony, life is a ritual, and it gets to be in each moment. We simply have to create that. And that ritual of speaking to every little space of my body and sending it love and checking in with how it's feeling and being grateful for it is something I do every single day before I even leave my bedroom to start my day. So I really wanted to share that beautiful little ritual with you. And I also just I'm going to ask a question. What is your relationship with your feminine? An honest, real answer. I know some of us are like so there, but there might be some of us that could be a little bit of an emotional question to answer.
Actually going to share with you exactly the process that I go through and that I experience to channel someone's genius. So as a genius activation mentor, part of every single offering that I do in life now actually includes what's called a genius activation blueprint session, where I channel your genius and share with you that genius so that then we can cultivate that as a lifestyle. So I just wanted to give you that overview. So when I'm talking about genius, you really can get a feel for exactly what it is and why it's so important, and really have a clear understanding from my perspective as to what it is.
So storytelling is wired into our DNA. It's actually the thing that helps us move from our critical thinking brain into our heart space. And there's been studies that have shown that storytelling activates very different parts of the brain that are much more to do with emotion. So from an energetic perspective, it helps people move from the brain and into their heart, into their emotional space. Not only this, but we also resonate with the journey, right? If you look at the classic hero's journey, you know, the hero sets off, or the heroine sets off on an adventure, usually meets a mentor along the way. First of all, they hear a call to adventure. There's something that inspires them to take action and to leave the comfort zone, right? They set out on their adventure. They meet a mentor along the way. The mentor supports them to go into the underworld. They will transition down into the underworld where they will face the dragons or the demons or the villains and overcome the villains, the dragons, the demons, to re-enter back up out of the underworld and return with their gifts, right? With the gifts and the wisdom that they have.
This work that I'm going to be sharing with you today, this is my life's work. And my chapter is this beautiful book that we co-created. Isn't just amazing? My chapter is chapter 10, which is the journey to revealing your true self. So this journey, and I write in this chapter, I write about how I went on a journey to finding my true self, how I had to shed the layers that I had to go through, each different separate initiation, birthing process, death process, right? To be able to go and receive all of what was ready to come through me. Often it happens really quickly. Often we go through a Kundalini awakening, a spontaneous Kundalini awakening. Sometimes the universe has to give us a little bit of a kick up the butt, okay? Like what happened to me, I wasn't listening. And often we're not listening. Our spirit team is always there guiding us. And they always use this analogy, and they've said this to me so many times. We're standing behind the door knocking. Only you can open that door.
I want to say it's that generational viewpoint, or that generational understanding of what a person with a disability is, how they act, how we should treat them, how we should perceive them. I do think it's so rooted in our past with how we're viewed, with what our place is in society. I mean, if you look far enough back, if a child was born with a disability, they were literally taken to the top of a mountain and left there to die because they were seen as no value. They had no value in the tribe. They had no value in the community. They were seen as, it was embarrassing. It was degrading to have a child with a disability. So they were literally taken to a top of a mountain and left there to die. And even today in some societies, they are viewed as, they should be just left.
What I was going to share with you this evening, it was very different. As you might hear, my lovely, sexy Rona voice is a little limiting me in being able to talk a lot, which is so fantastic because it's an invitation for me to create some space around my words. And every time that I take a long, deep breath in, I'm going to invite you to as well. You see, because it's your breath and the space between your thoughts where spirit can reach you. It's where you get out of your own way and you're in the moment. And when you are present, you make yourself available to the limitless potential.
How many of you just go through your day, you're driving to work and you have no idea how you got there? You have, you're on autopilot all the time. What I'm asking you to do is to stop in those little moments, just to stop and take in what's around you, because there's so much there that you can tap into that just brings you joy. Yeah, Naomi, all the precious small moments. And they build up and they continue to build up. And the more we notice them, the more we can fill our own cup, the more we can tap into our environment.
in your vision, you can see that you're where you were prior, and you can see that like you can see all the details of what's going on around you. If you're outside and you just look up, you can see the details so clearly of the clouds. You can see like really good detail of the people around you, sounds, smells, feelings, and you can feel yourself there in that moment. And things start to move very slowly. I know it sounds strange, but that's what actually happened to me.
Awareness is the foundation for having the life that you desire, for being the person that you want to be, and experiencing things more easily or happily or connectedly, or whatever it is that you are after in your motherhood journey, or even human journey if you're on here and you're not a parent. So awareness is about bringing your automatic default actions and reactions into your conscious mind, really increasing your consciousness, which gives you a choice about how you behave or act or react, especially during those challenging times that pop up quite a lot in motherhood. The next piece is when you have a choice, when you're in your consciousness and you have a choice, what do you do with it? Do you choose something new, or do you do what's default, what you've always done or what your parents did?
Particularly for those of us who are change makers in the world. And really, to be honest, we're all making change if we want to. We're making change in our families, in our relationships, in our communities, and that ripples out. And we're much more likely to step into making more of that effective change if we're doing the work of aligning with our wild, sacred selves. So I'm pretty passionate about this. I've had, a lot of different experiences in my life, which I'm starting to see have just led, ongoingly to this culmination of my life's work. And when I sat down to think about what do I share, it felt like, there was this real desire for some of these maps to drop in around how do we get to this activated living.
You might think, how am I leading my life now? How am I using my energy? Do I harness my energy well in my business, in my career, or in my life? How's your body feeling right now? I'm not as relaxed as I can be when I'm really relaxed, but yeah, I'm dealing in the technology and also wanting to have the connection with you. So the more I rest back into me, I get to practice even in taking this session with you. Crazy, huh? So intentions take us somewhere into this huge territory of the body and of leadership. So I had a lovely slide to show you, which I'm not going to, about the way I look at leadership, which is I talk about 3 levels of leadership: leading self, leading team or other, and leading the dynamic. So leading self is always the biggest place of self-mastery. It's where we return over and over. And every CEO I work with, we return over and over to all of the involvement, that leading oneself in one's own life and own dimension and own energy. This is the big, big jump.
Part of owning my neurodiversity is trying to figure out who I am for me, who other people are in relation to me, not the other way around. And that is a huge change of perspective for me, and I'm hoping that it will make a big difference. So I am a mother, a wife, a grandmother. I am a woman with multiple disabilities. You laughing, you. I am, hi Penny, a multimedia artist whose work is largely intuitive abstract. I paint. You can see some of my artwork behind. I use clothing as a canvas. I decorate materials. I use my artwork in different ways. I am really proud of being 49, of getting to that age, of being half the century next year.
You know, something I keep thinking of, there's a lot of pain that's happening as this paradigm is shifting. You know, what I'm seeing is all of these structures, you know, for thousands of years we've been under patriarchy. And please know, this is, I'm not saying men are bad or patriarchy is all about men. It's a system that we've been in. And it was to build, right? And it was a necessary force so that we could evolve and build. You know, it's been all part of the plan all along. But now it's time to come into balance. And so there is a falling of powers, you know, of structures, of control. And, you know, as this is happening, there's death that's happening, you know, literally and figuratively. And so I think it's really important as light workers, as priestesses, as wise women who are coming here to usher in this new change, that we remember we're hospicing, you know, we are hospicing out, you know, structures that have held us up for so long. And how do we hold that with reverence as we midwife in the new?